The man was clearly a Crimson King of disaster level, yet he willingly chose to become the lowest-ranking Border Patrol soldier. Not only did he have to endure beatings from his teammates every day, but he also had to bear the perverted demands of his beautiful leader. However, he didn't resent it at all. Instead, he was quite willing. His purpose for doing all this was to find his sister who had been missing for half a year. Because in these chaotic times, only in the military could one have the authority to gather intelligence and move around freely. And all of this was caused by the abnormal blood mist. Wherever the blood mist passed, most humans couldn't withstand the mutation and went berserk before dying suddenly. Other creatures directly evolved into terrifying and bizarre monsters. People called them crimson beasts. This was all archaeology's fault. After they opened Pandora's box, wherever the beasts passed, cities were reduced to ruins. People who lost their homes could only flee desperately. 3 days ago, the official broadcast told everyone not to panic and to stay home as much as possible without going out. At that time, our family was sitting in the car. Suddenly, the sound of window banging came from outside. Move the car. Immediately, it was the military. Dad couldn't help but complain. Those politicians' words really can't be trusted at all. They've already mobilized the military, yet they're still talking about natural disasters. At this moment, my sister said, "Brother, I'm scared." I said, "It's okay, we're all here. This commotion is too loud. What exactly is that red mist?" Then came a huge bang, and a car was flipped into the air. As luck would have it, that car was heading straight for ours. I quickly pressed my sister's head down and shouted, "Get down!" With a loud crash, the two cars stuck together like a sandwich. I urgently asked, "Dad, Mom, are you okay?" Dad said his leg was stuck. At that moment, a beast's roar came, and our whole family looked in the direction of the sound. What was that? I saw a huge monster roaring, and the military was shooting at it frantically. Everyone fled desperately. "Run, a monster appeared over there." Hearing this, Dad roared, "Quick, get out of the car!" I kicked the car door open and crawled out with my sister. Then I tried hard to pull open the passenger door. Mom said, "Take your sister and go, don't worry about us." But how could I possibly give up? I said, "No, I'll save you." My sister desperately shouted for help, then realized her mistake and quickly covered her mouth. Mom cried and told me to leave quickly. They said, "You have to take responsibility, you're the older brother, take good care of Xiao Shui." The next second, something crashed down, and my sister and I were thrown out. It was a black monster with exposed bones. It looked like a mutated dog. Just like that, Mom and Dad left us. But this monster had already set its sights on us. I endured the pain and pulled my sister to run, but she was still somewhat reluctant. At that moment, explosions were everywhere around us. Like the end of the world, there were flying monsters in the sky. Even airplanes were shot down. Animals and people were all going crazy. I could only keep pulling my sister to run. The streets were full of monsters' cries everywhere. I led my sister hiding here and there, afraid of being discovered by them. My brain was working rapidly. The supermarket had plenty of cover and sufficient supplies. My sister and I should be able to hold out until the rescue personnel arrived. Seeing the monster walk away, I breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Finally gone." But the next second, my sister screamed, and red threads appeared on her face. I didn't notice that my face also had. I asked, "Xiao Shui, what's wrong with you?" My sister said, "Brother, I feel so uncomfortable. What's happening? Could it be from inhaling too much red mist?" I quickly wet a towel with water, and then covered her nose and mouth. But the next second, my mutation became more and more severe. So hot, something inside my body kept coming out uncontrollably. My sister couldn't help but ask worriedly, "Brother, what's wrong with you?" I said, "It's okay, I'm fine." I tried hard to control myself from mutating. This immediately attracted the attention of nearby monsters. My sister said worriedly, "Brother, don't scare me." Looking at the approaching monsters, I thought to myself, "Oh no, we've been discovered." I could only pull my sister to run again, but I quickly noticed something was wrong. There was actually a monster blocking the road ahead. Then another one walked out. My sister was terrified and asked me what to do, but they didn't attack. They seemed to be waiting for something. I said, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Just then, an even louder beast's roar rang out. It was a flying monster. Just its landing made a huge sound and raised a large cloud of dust. It seemed to be the leader of these monsters. Could we really not escape today? I didn't hesitate to pull my sister and run back. Let's hide inside first. There was only one monster inside now. I could only try to kill the one inside first. I grabbed a stick and rushed out. Even though it looked fierce, it was just a mad dog. But the next second disappointed me. The stick broke immediately. The monster roared, and I didn't expect this mad dog to be so fierce. I could only use both hands and one leg to hold its mouth open. The next second, an arrow hit its eye, and its eye was ruined. At that moment, my sister came over and said, "Brother, are you okay? I'm here to help you." I couldn't find a gun, the supermarket only had this. I said, "I'm fine, you did great." But this mad dog held a grudge. It directly gave up attacking me and rushed toward my sister. My sister turned and ran. I told her not to look back no matter what. At that moment, my mutation symptoms became more and more severe. But why did it have to be at this time? My sister had just fallen down, and the mad dog had already caught up to her. Perhaps I was stimulated. I directly crushed the wall, and the steel bars inside were clearly visible. I threw the entire wall out, and the mad dog was hit by the wall. I shouted, "Anyone who dares to hurt my sister must die." I stabbed the stick into the mad dog's body, then I stabbed frantically on its body. My sister saw me acting like I was crazy and quickly hugged me, saying, "Brother, "What's wrong with you? Stop it quickly, don't be like this." I said, I'm fine. My sister said, "Please stop quickly, I'm so scared when you're like this." Under her repeated calls, I came to my senses and said, "Xiao Shui, I'm fine now. I made you worry." My sister asked, "Brother, are you really okay now?" But before I could finish my words, another monster appeared behind Xiao Shui. I quickly pushed Xiao Shui aside. This was actually a monster transformed from a bird. I grabbed an iron rod nearby and swung it, shouting, "You ugly bird, stay away from my sister." What I didn't expect was that it was actually knocked flying by me. I could actually defeat it. Although I didn't know the reason, I had indeed become stronger. Then I told my sister to find a place to hide. I was going to slaughter these monsters. Xiao Shui was a bit worried, but that big guy had set its sights on us. I had to lead them away. My sister hugged me tightly and said, "Brother, don't go. I'm afraid you'll be like just now." I touched her head and said, "Don't worry, I won't lose control this time. Wait for me here, I'll come back to get you right away, okay?" So my sister and I made an agreement. "Promise me you'll definitely come back safely." I said, "Of course, trust me." Then I walked out. If I wasn't mistaken, hunting beasts and absorbing the bloody energy from their bodies could make me stronger. The energy on its body should be even more, right? As long as I kill it, I should be able to gain enough power to protect my family. So, die for me. But it sent out some small monsters to lead the charge. It seemed I wasn't worth it attacking personally yet. Then I would kill my way to it one by one. I struck down with a vertical chop on the monster's head, but the next second, a monster bit my shoulder. I roared, and my momentum surged dramatically again. Two monsters were directly knocked flying. My hands were like wearing the monster's claws, with black-red energy flowing on them. Is this what power feels like? Awesome. Next comes my hunting time. But just then, a military aircraft flew by and dropped a bomb. The monster leader roared, accompanied by a huge bang. Billowing smoke shot into the sky, but it was useless. The monsters were still fine. I roared and used extreme speed to start harvesting monsters. I looked somewhat disheveled at that moment. When I came to my senses, I thought of my sister again, but all that was left was a stuffed doll. Then the mutation on my body began to recede. I had actually lost my sister. "Xiao Shui, I'm sorry, I came too late. Where are you exactly?" "Dad, Mom, I failed to live up to your expectations. I didn't take good care of Xiao Shui." I vaguely remembered when the bomber flew over. I looked at my own hands. How did my hands become like this? What happened? As the bomb got closer and closer, I told my sister not to come over. It was too dangerous. After an explosion, I heard the helicopter's propeller sound. Someone said, "There's still a survivor here. Go down and check. This person has been infected. Abandon him. Take that girl over there. Move quickly. Those monsters will be back soon." I could only watch the helicopter fly away, but this was also a good thing. Xiao Shui was safe. "Brother, why didn't you come save me?" I saw Xiao Shui in the flames, but when I reached out to grab her, she dissipated. I woke up with a start. So this was just a dream. Damn it. Still that dream. Xiao Shui, half a year has passed. Where exactly are you? Back then, I searched all the local refugee camps, but my sister's whereabouts remained unknown. To find my sister, I joined the lowest-ranking border patrol team in the military and became a low-ranking soldier. In these chaotic times, only in the military could one have the authority to gather intelligence and move around freely. Redstone City Border Outpost. I said, "Captain, I'm sorry, I was late for my shift." The captain kicked my butt and said, "Where did you go slacking off again? You're so late." I said I was wrong. Then I quickly climbed up the watchtower. The captain's voice came from below. "Yan Hao, when those big shots arrive later, we can call it a day. If you mess up, you're in for it." Half a year ago, the Crimson Mist erupted. Most cities were reduced to ruins and became habitats for beasts. Appearing with the red mist was also this mysterious Crimson Spire. The surviving humans could only huddle within the borders far from the spire and red mist to barely survive. At that moment, the captain said, "There's a special response team outside, so for the border watch, we'll just go through the motions. If even they can't hold the line, what can we low-level patrol soldiers do?" The other two thought the captain was being alarmist and said, "This is the special response team. They can't possibly fail to hold the line. They crushed the beasts all the way here." After all this time, I still hated the smell of blood mist. This mist induced creatures' primitive bloodthirsty desires. Suddenly, I noticed the blood mist dispersing. No, something was rushing over. I stood up and said, "Captain, there's something strange. Look quickly." The captain said, "Why is the blood mist surging over?" I said, "Captain, it's the special response team." I saw two people racing against the blood mist. "Sir, what happened? Go back quickly." The next second, both of them let out screams. The captain roared into the radio, "Everyone retreat, retreat now." But the next second, a claw hooked onto his clothes and directly lifted him up. The captain thought he was done for. He seemed to see his deceased great-grandmother beckoning to him. I looked down from above. Rolling blood mist completely covered the ground. I could only hear the shouting from inside. I jumped straight down. A monster was immediately smashed into the ground by me. The first monster had been harvested by me. The monster next to me roared at me. At that moment, I was no longer the me from half a year ago. Soon I finished off the second one, then came absorbing it. After absorbing this one, I became a bit stronger again. I wondered what would happen after absorbing a few more. Looking at the 6 monsters surrounding me, Not only did I not feel the slightest fear, I was actually somewhat excited. I said, "You'd better not disappoint me," but the next second, a beam of light shot past from behind me, and the monsters were instantly blasted to pieces. It was a woman holding a weapon. The woman was Song Rui, captain of the Blazing Blood Dispatch Squad. I thought to myself, oh no, it's someone from the Special Response Team. I need to change back quickly. I just hope she didn't see what I looked like. Song Rui cleared out all the monsters without leaving any. Then 2 gun barrels pointed at me. I immediately raised both hands in fright, but they still opened fire. However, nothing happened to me. They were actually attacking the monster behind me. Target confirmed killed. Song Rui looked down at me and said, "Where's your weapon, patrol soldier?" Hearing this, I thought, I'm done for. But I couldn't deny she was quite good looking. At that moment, the soldier beside her said, "All personnel retreat from the outpost to the temporary defense line. Without Commander Song's permission, no one else may enter." Song Rui looked at the data. Special Response Team Blazing Blood Squad, 2 killed. Patrol Team over 30 killed. I said, "Why are you detaining me? I'm also a victim." Song Rui said, "At 1723, you left your team for 2 hours without authorization. Right after you returned, the blood mist erupted. Don't you think you need to explain?" I said, "I just took a nap in the nearby ruins." I told my captain. At that moment, my teammate said, "Sir, he's late for every mission, and the captain always indulges him." I said angrily, "You're talking nonsense. Don't wrongly accuse the captain." Hearing this, Song Rui calculated in her mind and said, "It seems your patrol team has quite a few contradictions." Just then, the captain who was receiving treatment sneezed. The soldier nearby said, "Captain, are you okay?" The doctor said calmly, "Don't worry, he won't die. All the checks are quite normal." Here, Song Rui pulled up my file and said, "Your file shows you only passed basic training 3 months ago. In the battle just now, even 2 of our special response team members died, yet you managed to survive." I said, "I'm afraid of death. I used to do track and field at school, so my legs are more agile than others. After discovering the red mist attack, I ran first." Song Rui said, "Since you're afraid of death, why did you choose to join the military? Could it be you have another purpose?" Of course I had a purpose. In the half years searching for Xiao Shui, I continuously killed and absorbed low-level beasts, gradually gaining the ability to control my beastification and return to human form. For half a year, I used the most foolish method to search every ruin and visit every human settlement. Song Rui said, "As a soldier, you're cowardly, you deserted your post, you withheld information, you know what the consequences are, right?" I asked, "Are you going to execute me by firing squad?" Then she leaned close to my ear and whispered, "What's wrong with those hands of yours? What are all these lies you made up trying to cover up? What exactly is your purpose?" At the same time, a huge bang came from outside. Song Rui thought it was an earthquake, but I felt something was wrong. Then I stood up and ran out, saying, "Run quickly, a large number of monsters are approaching." Song Rui was dumbfounded because I actually ran away in front of her. The next second, she pinned me to the ground, and then cracks appeared in the ground beneath me. I said, "Sir, it's cracking. Please be gentler. It's going to collapse. Help, help." Except for Song Rui, everyone else fell to the ground and wondered, "Where is this?" I said, "Underground. It's too dark here." Song Rui said, "Prepare lighting equipment." The soldier said, "Yes." Then he turned to me and said, "You're a jinx. Nothing good happens when you're around." Under the illumination of the lights, we discovered this was a maze dug by beasts. Song Rui said, "Everyone stay calm, check available weapons, and maintain formation." Suddenly I heard the sound of wind, which startled me. I said, "There's the sound of wind over there." The soldier said, "Wind? Then there must be a way outside. I'll go check." After checking, he said, "There really is wind. Yan Hao, you have no other skills, but your survival skills are truly first rate." Then he said to Song Rui, "Sir, there's wind here. There must be a path ahead." But he didn't notice a monster suddenly appeared behind him. Song Rui shouted, "Get down!" The bullet flew past and the monster was hit. The soldier was so scared he sat on the ground. Song Rui continued, "These beetles' bodily fluids are corrosive. Don't let them get close. Also, don't act without my orders." Then Song Rui said to me, "You're very good at avoiding risks. After we get out, you'll explain your situation." But I didn't understand. She knew my secret but didn't reveal it. What was her purpose? Then rustling sounds came from around us. It seemed something was coming. These were the same species as that monster from before. Why are there so many bugs? This is trouble. These bugs were all full of killing intent, as if waiting to feed. Song Rui and the others directly opened fire. We ran while retreating in the opposite direction. Suddenly I stopped. Song Rui told me not to stop and keep running. I said, "The swarm seems to have stopped." "Look ahead!" I saw a Dominator-class bug blocking our path. It was absorbing red mist, but the next second, it converted the red mist into an energy ball. I shouted, "Everyone be careful, this thing is too dangerous." But Song Rui fired a shot. The big bug also finished preparing and shot out the energy ball. Then came a huge bang. The energy Song Rui shot hit the big bug directly. At the same time, the energy ball the big bug spat out also reached Song Rui. Fortunately, I arrived in time and punched the energy ball. Then I absorbed that energy and said, "When we get out, I'll explain everything to you properly." But I also noticed the place where the big bug was attacked by Song Rui started to crack. Song Rui was somewhat worried at this moment and said, "Even my attack had no effect. Yan Hao, do you really have a way? Be careful." But I was still quite confident. I had killed many of these big bugs. The Dominator class must be the same as them. Monster levels from low to high were Scout class, Hound class, Dominator class, Behemoth class, and Calamity class. Then I jumped up and shouted, "Go die!" Under my sharp claws, its body was directly penetrated by me. How much would I improve if I absorbed it? The next moment I landed, somewhat dissatisfied with the attack just now. So hard. If it were a normal beast, it would already be in pieces. This physique was like an extra-large armored tank. It must have devoured many of its own kind. The big bug wasn't to be outdone and launched a counterattack, but I easily dodged it. I mocked that it was too slow. I thought it had put all its enhancements into defense. This was even better. It was nothing more than a moving target. Seeing this, my colleague was stunned. That guy who everyone bullied was actually a hidden boss. What exactly was he? Impossible. Wasn't he the one who ran faster than anyone and was most afraid of death? At that moment, Song Rui said, "He's a combat experimental subject against beasts secretly researched by the SU joint government." The soldier said, "Sir, you knew all along he was a combat experimental subject against beasts?" Song Rui said, "No. I only confirmed his identity just now when he blocked the beast's attack for me." Hearing this, Deputy Lin Yongji thought, are there such experimental subjects, or is the captain hiding something? Song Rui said, "He escaped from the laboratory. I didn't expect he infiltrated the border patrol." The soldier said, "Then was the red mist eruption incident last time because of Yan Hao?" Song Rui said, "This possibility can't be ruled out, which is why I need to investigate him. This is Su's secret. You can't reveal half a word to the outside. Clear?" The soldier said, "Yes, sir." At that moment, the big bug condensed another energy ball, then it smashed toward me. I easily dodged it. Then I thought to myself, oh no. The energy ball was smashing towards Song Rui and the other two. The energy ball hit the ground with a huge bang. When the smoke cleared, Song Rui was unharmed, even striking a heroic pose. My colleague was gasping for breath. He couldn't believe he was still alive. It turned out Lin Yongji had protected him. He asked with concern, "What happened to your leg?" Lin Yongji said, "Don't worry, I won't die." The soldier said, "You're from the special operations team." For a lowly patrol soldier like me, Lin Yongji said, "One leg for one life is a good deal." The soldier said, "But isn't your mission to target beasts? To lose precious combat ability for me?" Lin Yongji said, "I didn't become a soldier to kill those damn beasts. I exist to protect. As humanity's last shield, I absolutely cannot abandon anyone." At the same time, I was knocked flying and crashed into the ground with loud thuds. The red armor on my hands also began to recede. The red mist energy was depleted, but this Dominator class Steel Shield Spike Bug was still full of vigor. This was a bit tricky. Seeing I wasn't doing well, the Steel Shield Spike Bug let out a roar and then attacked me. At the critical moment, a huge bang came from its head. Song Rui had made her move. She said, "Yan Hao, you can't die here. There are still many things. You must explain clearly." The next second, something strange happened. The Steel Shield Spike Bug started laughing. Song Rui felt her scalp tingle. The next moment, red mist poured out from the cave. These tunnels allowed it to easily transfer red mist from other places, and then use this red mist to replenish its own strength. Then its wounds had already begun to heal. If this continued, it would return to peak condition. It seemed the sudden red mist surge at the outpost earlier was its doing. Then she looked at me and said, "We can't kill it. Retreat while we can now." I said, "No, it must die here today. It can recover through red mist, and so can I." The red mist it summoned also replenished me. Now it can't move around. This is the perfect opportunity for us to attack. Song Rui said worriedly, "If we fail, you might die here." I said, "I've lingered at Hell's entrance countless times. One more time won't matter." Song Rui compromised, but there was only one chance. She said, "I'll release all my power to help you blast open its head carapace. You seize the opportunity to directly destroy its brain. This is our only way to defeat it." A super energy shot out. Now, with a huge bang, the Steel Shield Spike Bug's head carapace shattered, and I happened to appear above its head, which greatly shocked the Steel Shield Spike Bug. Then I frantically attacked it. The Steel Shield Spike Bug screamed repeatedly, and the spike on its head also began to crack. Song Rui watched intently. Did we succeed? She wasn't very sure either. The next second came a huge bang and I was knocked flying. At that moment, the Steel Shield Spike Bug's head had already exploded. I crashed heavily to the ground. Song Rui ran over and asked, "Yan Hao, are you okay?" Just then, the photo on my chest fell out. I was holding a black crystal in my hand. My other hand had already been pierced through. Where am I? Who is this? This seems to be me. Why can't I control my body? I see. I had completely beastified. Then what's this situation? Hell? What is this DNA-like thing? Then I discovered I could move, and there seemed to be something in my chest. Isn't this the thing from inside that behemoth just now? It looks like some kind of energy body. It was in my hand just now. How did it transfer to my chest? The next second, I was shocked. It was actually absorbing red mist and could even store it. Even if I absorbed more red mist to beastify, I didn't have to worry about losing control. It was like an insurance. When I lost control, it would reclaim the red mist in my body and restore my rationality. This way, I could absorb beasts without reservations to evolve and become stronger. But this newly born crystal had limited storage capacity. If this continued, it would burst. Then I had a flash of inspiration desperation. That big beetle's move could consume large amounts of red mist. Since I could absorb red mist, I could gather them together. Red mist surged in my eyes, gathering together, so I shaped it into a ball. At that moment, in front of room 324, the soldier asked, "Captain Song, Deputy Lin's leg?" Song Rui said, "As a soldier, he was prepared for this long ago. You don't need to feel too guilty." Lin Yongji said, "Captain Song, what's going on with Yan Hao? I've never heard of Su having experimental subjects." Song Rui said, "Yan Hao's matter is classified. Just focus on recovering from your injury. Don't worry about the rest. I've already applied to headquarters to transfer you to the logistics department. From now on, you can rest properly." Lin Yongji said, "I will report this matter to your father, Staff Officer Song Lian. He will make his own judgment." Song Rui said, "I'm your superior. From now on, your communication privileges are frozen. Don't go anywhere." Song Rui walked out with a gloomy face and asked, "Where's Yan Hao?" The soldier said, "He's in room 314. The two quickly arrived in front of room 314. Song Rui said, "Guard the door. No one enters without my order." At that moment, I had just formed the sphere, and Song Rui walked in, looking at the dangerous energy fluctuation in my hand. Song Rui said, "Yan Hao, what are you trying to do?" I said, "Move aside quickly." I had no choice but to disperse the energy ball. The powerful energy knocked me flying. Song Rui quickly got down, and the energy swept over her head. Like a disc, it flew out through the door. The soldier was so scared he sat on the ground. With a loud bang, the hospital building was penetrated. The energy disc then penetrated the second building, followed by the third. Due to energy dispersion, the third building was directly cut in half. Seeing this, Deputy Lin thought, "Was this Yan Hao's doing? Captain Song Rui, how long can you hide this matter?" The soldier was almost crying, saying, "Why is it always me who's unlucky? Help, this is too terrifying." Song Rui was sweating profusely. This was that beetle's move. Why could Yan Hao use beast abilities without beastifying? Then she turned to look at me and said, "Yan Hao, you owe me quite a few explanations." Then she and I came to the hospital rooftop. I told her about my situation. Song Rui said, "So you can not only absorb beasts' cores but also learn their abilities?" I said, "Not only that, I can also absorb more red mist and store it. That crystal seems to be able to self-repair too." Song Rui touched her chin with her hand and said, "Your functions are quite numerous." I said, "I gain their power, but I might also become one of them. Can I still be considered a true human?" "Captain Song, in your view, what exactly am I?" Song Rui said, "You are you, a unique existence. Whether you're human or monster depends on how you use this power. But your power is both a disaster and a weapon. Now you have two paths. The first is to become a reserve soldier in my squad. The second is to be defined as a threat and eliminated completely along with the beasts." I said, "Do you think the troops in the city now really have the ability to eliminate me?" Song Rui said, "I indeed can't do anything about you, but you want to fight Su alone is too arrogant. Joining my squad has no disadvantages for you. I'll help you suppress all troubles." I said, "You just met me, this dangerous element who loses control of his power, yet you're willing to take me in. You're so sparing no effort just to recruit me. Could you have another purpose?" Song Rui said, "You're very smart. For certain reasons, I do need you very much. But you have to believe we're not enemies. Perhaps you can also treat this as a transaction." Then she pulled out a photo. I said in shock, "Why is this photo with you?" Song Rui said, "Don't underestimate me. As long as I want, investigating your past is easy. As long as you join me, I'll use the highest level intelligence network to help you find your sister's whereabouts." This condition left me no choice but to accept. Searching blindly by myself ultimately had its limits. By gaining a higher position and status in the military, I could investigate more places, and my movements would be more convenient. I said, "Deal. But can you give me a raise? I used all my previous salary to find my sister." Song Rui said, "In my capacity as Blazing Blood Captain, I approve you as a Blazing Blood Reserve Soldier. Salary will be issued at the highest standard. Now go complete the procedures immediately." I said, "Yes, Captain Song. I'll go to the patrol team right now to handle the transfer." Song Rui said, "By the way, I paid for the damages you caused to the hospital. It will be deducted from your future salary." Sure enough, I still had to pay compensation. She looked at my back, thinking, "Uncle, I will definitely save you." Intuition told me he held the key to transforming from beast back to human. To join the Special Response Team, I arrived at Lake City, a more advanced modern technological metropolis. This was also my destination for this trip, where I would participate in the assessment. This was Su's capital, Lake City, and the headquarters of Blazing Blood was also located here. I pointed at the patrol soldier beside me and said, "I heard that official Blazing Blood members are at least D-rank warriors. How are warrior ranks evaluated? Is this guy so weak that he can still participate in the Blazing Blood assessment?" The patrol soldier smiled awkwardly and said, "Haha, I can take quite a beating though." Song Rui said, "He's joining the logistics group, not the combat group, so he doesn't need to participate in combat assessment." The patrol soldier said, "The logistics group also fights alongside you guys. You'll have to count on me in the future, Yan Hao. We happen to have plenty of time now. let me sync you up on the intel. People like me who can activate abilities are collectively called warriors. A warrior's combat power is divided into 6 ranks: S, A, B, C, D, and E. The most basic criteria for ranking are physical strength and stamina. Beasts are classified from weak to strong into 5 levels: Scout class, Hound class, Dominator class, Behemoth class, and Calamity class. Generally, E-rank warriors can defeat Scout class beasts, and D-rank warriors correspond to Hound class beasts. B-rank and C-rank warriors correspond to Dominator class, A-rank warriors to Behemoth class, and S-rank warriors to Calamity class. Additionally, Beast Core compatibility also affects ranking. Currently, only beasts transformed by the Red Mist possess abilities. Human warriors can only activate abilities by using Beast Core armament to adapt to Beast Cores. Physical fitness, talent, luck, and other factors all influence Beast Core compatibility. The better the compatibility, the higher the quality and quantity of abilities activated. If you cannot adapt to a Beast Core, you can only be rated as E-rank at most. Suddenly, the military vehicle braked hard. "Sorry, this street is under traffic control right now. I'll have to ask you to take a detour," I shouted. "You dare to stop the special response team? We're also on official duty. We really have no choice." Right after that, a vehicle with special markings sped past. Songrui sensed something was wrong. What would a big shot from Greenvine Corporation be doing at Blazing Blood's recruitment assessment? 1 hour later, at the Blazing Blood recruitment assessment site, Chief Examiner Lin Yongxin said, "No matter what background you have, once you're here, you must follow the rules. No matter who you are, without real ability, don't expect to stay in Blazing Blood." First item, physical fitness assessment begins. 100-meter sprint with 50 kilograms of weight. I shot forward like a projectile, leaving everyone else behind, completing the weighted sprint in 5 seconds. Electromagnetic weight kettlebell, 100 kilograms. I lifted 500 kilograms with one hand. Striking power test, I threw a punch. The machine broke. Punch force tester damaged, unable to calculate. 10 minutes later, I said, reporting to the chief examiner, all items completed. Confirmed complete, 198 points. People were stunned. The previous rookie record was only 140 points. Did he cheat? One person said, "Instructor Lin, his score far exceeds the record. I don't believe it." This guy was Zhang Jing, younger brother of the Redstone City Defense Force captain. The instructor glanced at him and said, "I personally supervised, and there's video surveillance. What are you doubting?" He said, I wouldn't dare, I'm just curious. You're Yan Hao from Redstone City Patrol, right?" I said, "Do you need something?" He said, "Nothing, just saying hello. After all, we're from the same hometown." He thought to himself, "You just wait. The humiliation my brother suffered, I'll make you pay back double." "What bullshit, fellow townsman." Instructor Lin said, "His name is Zhang Jing. He's a young master from Redstone City Defense Force. Do you two know each other?" I said, "No." "Redstone City Defense Force, I see. Those Defense Force people are corrupt to the bone." Next, the instructor said, "Physical fitness test results are as follows. 30th place, Zhang San, 89 points. He continued reading. 3rd place, Zhang Jing, 123 points. 2nd place, Jin Ying, 135 points. 1st place, Yan Hao, 198 points. At this moment, a girl said, "I actually just came to participate in the assessment for fun. I didn't expect there would be such a strong rookie this year. This is too interesting. I must study him thoroughly." This cute-looking girl was Jin Ying, a senior researcher from the Technical Intelligence Bureau. Top 15 on the list day. Next test, compatibility. At this time, in a private dormitory, Zhang Jing looked at the tablet in front of him, quite irritated. He said, "I should have been able to take 1st place. Who knew there would be 2 monsters?" The voice on the other end said, "You only qualified to participate in the assessment because your brother works as Greenvine's lackey. You'd better behave yourself." Zhang Jing said, "For my brother's sake, I must make it into Blazing Blood." In front of the Beast Core test platform, people waited quietly. The instructor said, "This test isn't complicated. You just need to put on this bracer. Place the Beast Core on this bracer for testing. Anyone with Beast Core compatibility below 40% is directly eliminated." Let me briefly explain what Beast Cores are. First, only Hound class or higher beasts can nurture Beast Cores. The stronger the beast, the higher the quality of the Beast Core it nurtures. The highest is Gold quality, and the most common is the Black Beast Core from Hound class. By embedding a Beast Core in armament, warriors can use abilities just like beasts. Each person has different compatibility with Beast Cores. Based on compatibility and one's own talent, different attribute abilities are awakened. This bracer is the most basic armament. It can only test compatibility and won't grant abilities. Once you officially join the Special Response Team's combat division, you'll be given better Beast Cores and armament. Testing begins. The first one was a bit unfortunate. Compatibility only 39%, directly eliminated. He couldn't accept it. He felt this assessment was harder than killing beasts. Next examinee, compatibility reached 56%. Jing, your turn. But this guy actually gave the instructor attitude. He snorted coldly, then quickly grabbed a black-quality beast core. With a snap, he pressed it in. His face contorted as he said, "Listen to me. D rank, compatibility rate 60%. He actually broke the previous session's record. The strongest rookie from last session was only 56%. Many people felt he was the strongest of this batch, but he thought everyone present was trash, and he was the strongest. People immediately started discussing. At this moment, Jin Ying suddenly appeared behind me and said, "You're from Redstone City. I haven't heard of anyone as strong as you before. At least I'm from the Technical Intelligence Bureau, and I didn't even know about you. You're not simple. The abnormal red mist concentration fluctuations in Redstone City a few days ago are also related to you, right?" I immediately played dumb and said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand a word." She said, "It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. Anyway, I'm very interested in you." Hearing this, I immediately seized the opportunity and said, "Then can I ask you for some information?" Jin Ying held up one finger and said, "Sure, but I have one condition. As long as your test results exceed mine, I can tell you anything you want to know." Next, it was Jin Ying's turn to test. She said arrogantly, "Everyone watch closely. I'll be the one to break Jing Jing's record." I even wondered if she was really that strong. Jing Jing thought she was a clown, but Jin Ying was full of confidence. She also chose black. With a snap, she pressed it in. The large screen displayed D-rank 78% compatibility rate. People exclaimed, "This is impossible. Is the device malfunctioning?" Jin Ying giggled. She said, "See, I told you I'd break Zhang Jing's record." Zhang Jing ground his teeth upon hearing this, thinking, besides Yan Hao, I can't let her off either. Finally, it was Yan Hao's turn. He thought, maybe she's right. Maybe she really can find clues about Xiao Shui's whereabouts. For clues about Xiao Shui, I must win this wager. According to Song Rui, my warrior rank is at least C rank. This beast core's quality is the same black as the one I absorbed before. What will its compatibility rate be? Come on, let's see just how much potential I have. The screen first displayed C rank. People were all stunned. That was a level only squad leaders had. But the next second, the screen started beeping. System error. Beast core compatibility is. What's going on? I have a bad feeling about this. 0%. Seeing this, Zhang Jing burst out laughing, saying, "Trash, this is hilarious. Even the beast core rejects you." I ignored such words. I just looked at my own arm. I muttered, "This is bad." My body was forcibly devouring this beast core. Jin Ying rushed to the testing device. She didn't believe the compatibility was 0%. The worst on record was still 1%. Then she said excitedly, "I need to record this. The old man will definitely be very pleased." Zhang Jing also noticed the anomaly on my end and immediately grinned sinisterly. He said, "Instructor Lin, Yan Hao stole the beast core. The beast core in his hand is gone." Instructor Lin immediately looked at me and said, "Yan Hao, raise your hand." At this moment, there was no beast core in my bracer. Instructor Lin exclaimed in shock, "What? Where's your beast core?" Yan Hao explained immediately. This was awkward. I didn't know what was happening either. I had to come up with a reason immediately. Otherwise, I'd definitely be taken away for experiments. No choice, I had to gamble. Then a red airflow expanded, and my left hand also turned red. I could only disguise the beastification as an ability activated by the beast core. With a few hissing sounds, a red claw armor covered my left hand. Zhang Jing was dumbfounded. What was that? Instructor Lin was alarmed, immediately drew his weapon and said, "All personnel on alert, fall back." Jin Ying became even more excited upon seeing this. Was this beastification? Zhang Jing said, "Beastification, this guy is infected. Everyone fall back." Instructor Lin felt he had to eliminate me here. Jin Ying was really good at livening up the atmosphere. She said, "Hey, Yan Hao, can you hear me?" I said somewhat speechlessly, "What?" Instructor Lin also breathed a sigh of relief, saying, "You haven't lost your sanity." Then I retracted the armor on my hand and said, "It seems like this beast core drilled into me on its own." And then this happened. Jin Ying rushed up and said, "No rampage. This is a transformation ability. This is the first discovery." Instructor Lin also smiled and said, "Able to recover autonomously after beastification, unheard of. This is definitely a rare ability." I turned to look at Jin Ying and asked, "Who exactly are you? How do you know so much?" Jin Ying said playfully again, "I already told you I'm a know-it-all." The instructor said, "Her name is Jin Ying. She's a senior researcher at the Technical Intelligence Bureau. Her father, Jin Ancheng, manages the entire technical R&D department." Jin Ying said dissatisfied, "Instructor Lin, that's leaking secrets." My sense of mystery is completely gone. The instructor said, "All right, the farce ends here. Yan Hao, hand over the beast core." I was in a bind. I'd already absorbed it. How could I hand it over? I said, "Instructor Lin, it's not that I won't hand it over. It's staying inside my body and won't come out." Zhang Jing became even more jealous upon hearing this, thinking, the beast core actually drilled into his body. I need to tell the Greenvine people quickly. This guy is an excellent test subject. Inside the radiology room, I lay on the machine. I was already prepared for this. They would definitely conduct a full body examination on me. Unheard of. How can this beast core grow on a person's body? And the beast core seems to have merged with his body. There's no way to simply remove it. Director Jin, what do you think? So this blonde uncle was Jin Ying's father. He said, worth studying. There must be quite a few more secrets about him. At the same time, Instructor Lin arrived with another person and asked, what's the situation? What's his background? Jin Ansheng said, what? Are you still planning to follow the rigid rules of not accepting anyone below 40% compatibility? The newcomer was Song Rui's father, Special Response Team Chief of Staff Song Lian. He said, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us what's going on. Jin Ancheng said, the testing device was developed by my team together with Greenvine. I know better than anyone that the compatibility wasn't 0%. Jin Ying said, Father, hurry up and tell us. I'm dying of curiosity. What's really going on with him? Jin Ancheng said, the device maxed out. It couldn't measure his upper limit. His compatibility is unprecedented, exceeding the theoretical maximum value of 100% we set. Upon hearing this, Song Lian immediately turned and said, Yongjin, come with me, immediately. At this moment, my crystal core was changing from black to red. Was it because of absorbing that small beast core? Previously, absorbing the Dominator class's beast core plundered its ability and activated the crystal core in my body. This time, absorbing a low-level beast core didn't grant an ability, but the crystal core was strengthened. Crystal core purity increased. The color changed from deep black to rust red. Total red mist storage increased. In other words, the stronger the beast, the stronger I'd become after absorbing it. As long as I kept plundering beasts, I could evolve infinitely. At this time, at Special Response Team Blazing Blood Headquarters, Song Rui said excitedly, Yan Hao was brought by me. What's the problem with him joining my squad? Song Lian said, watch your identity and tone. Also, aren't you being overly concerned about that C-rank recruit? Song Rui said, Father, I promised to bring him into my team. You can't make me a soldier who doesn't keep her word. Song Lian said, a soldier's credibility is to the country, not to individuals. Besides, he's already joined Yongxin's team. Song Rui never expected this would happen. Song Lian said, are you, as a fellow Blazing Blood Squad leader, going to compete with him? Return to your post. Song Rui had no choice but to agree for now, then figure out a solution later. Blazing Blood Camp Rest Area. Jin Ying held documents and said, Yan Hao, big news. A beast nest, newly discovered between Lake City and Redstone City, will have Blazing Blood recruits explore it. I applied to Instructor Lin for us to team up. At this point, I was already a C-rank Special Response Team member of Lin Yongxin's squad. Lin Yongxin said, this mission's objective is to investigate and assess threat level. Stay vigilant. Although it's a low-level beast nest, it may change due to red mist. At this time, Jin Ying was D-rank. She said, data collection is my strong suit. Don't worry, I'll protect you. The convoy soon departed. Jin Ying said, beast nest threat levels are divided into 4 levels: low, medium, high, and extremely high. There are also many types. The low-level beast nest we're going to is hive type. Its characteristics are simple structure but complex internal passages. Most importantly, large numbers of worker bees and a small number of soldier bees forming the poison stinger bee swarm. I was a bit puzzled and said, can't one person handle a hornet's nest? Do we need 3 vehicles of people? Jin Ying said, iron bees aren't little honeybees. Suddenly, the patrol soldier said, there's something up ahead. I looked and indeed there was something. Are these really bees? Why are they so huge? The patrol soldier told everyone to hold tight. He was about to show off his driving skills. Looking at the poison needles filling the sky, the patrol soldier drifted. Not good. This is the iron bee's needle attack. Our armored vehicle can't withstand it. I immediately started using my ability and said, leave the bee swarm outside to me. Perfect time to test this newly developed move. I instantly melted some of the poison needles. I jumped straight off the vehicle and said, you find cover and defend. I'll be right back. Then I went up and started wildly attacking. The patrol soldier said in shock, what ability is that? Jin Ying said, it's a transformation ability. During the assessment, he absorbed a beast core. Jingling's eyes sparkled. She thought he could only transform. She didn't expect he could also cover objects with this transformation ability, so he could turn anything into a weapon. Fantastic! I need to record his combat data and study him thoroughly when I get back. Suddenly, a green energy shot toward me. A green cone directly pierced through the shield. I was startled. What was that? This thing was stronger than the iron bee's stinger and could break through my defense. I needed to figure out where it was coming from. I shouted, there are other enemies, attack source unknown. Jin Ying, you all be careful. Find cover and hide. Get behind that rock. Iron bees fear fire. Don't go out. With a whoosh, a green light instantly penetrated a Special Response Team member. Then an explosion sounded. I immediately shouted, Jin Ying, what are those green spikes? Jin Ying pulled out a tablet and checked, saying, it's a hound class queen bee. Its tail stinger can corrode C rank and below armor. There's actually a hound class. The intelligence was wrong. This isn't a low-level beast nest at all. I immediately gave orders. Help me handle these scout class little bees. I'll go kill that queen bee. Jin Ying said, okay. Jin Ying's elemental type basic ability was wind power. She shouted, storm, rise. Instantly, these iron bees were frantically sliced. Suddenly, I discovered something incredible. It was the queen bee. Got you. This queen bee was abnormally large. I instantly twisted 2 shields into a braid. Before long, I'd fashioned a spear. This length should be about right. I stomped on the ground. The ground instantly shattered into pieces. Then I threw the spear. The air was instantly pierced. The spear flew toward the queen bee like lightning. With a squelching sound, the queen bee's body was penetrated, bringing up a spray of blood. But bizarrely, the queen bee didn't fall to the ground. This wasn't right. It acted as if nothing happened. A trace of cold sweat appeared on Jin Ying's face. How could a hound class have such strong power? Then she anxiously ran toward me, saying, Yan Hao, don't let it escape. It's about to advance to Dominator class. Who knew that the next second I collapsed on the ground? I said, let it go. I'm out of energy. Without red mist replenishment, my energy was instantly depleted. I should have saved some energy to fight the queen bee. Jin Ying looked down at me and said, what are you trying to do looking like that? Do you want me to give you mouth to mouth? A trace of cold sweat appeared on my face. She was too fierce, and this angle was a bit. I immediately sat up, indicating I had no interest in little kids. Jin Ying huffed and said, who's a little kid? Then she handed me a chocolate bar and said, eat this and rest for a bit. I was a bit embarrassed. Actually, I wasn't out of energy because I was hungry. At this time, the patrol soldier and the others also caught up. Yan Hao, are you all okay? I said, we're fine. Clean up the battlefield and establish a temporary position. We need to report this matter urgently. A breeze blew past and thin red mist also drifted out. Jin Ying looked at the data on the detector and said, the red mist concentration in the beast nest is still within low range. We can go in wearing protective suits. I was a bit surprised and said, we're not waiting for support? Jin Ying said, the queen bee is injured. It's a good opportunity to collect data and take it down. Besides, this beast nest's threat level has now risen to medium high. If we succeed, it'll be completing a mission above our level. At this time, at Special Response Team Headquarters Chief of Staff's office, Song Lian said, right now, the higher-ups have very divided opinions. Not only are there people, like us, who hope he becomes high-end combat power, there's also a bunch of crazy scientists advocating to treat him as an experimental subject for research. Yan Hao is very special. Keep close watch on him. Just then, Lin Yongxin's phone rang. It was emergency communication. Lin Yongxin quickly answered. What? That beast nest threat level started changing from low to high. Yan Hao and Jin Ying have already gone in? Upon hearing this, Song Lian said, reckless. Jin Ying seems careless, but she's meticulous. She wouldn't take risks. Something's fishy about this. Song Lian ordered, deploy the nearest troops for support. Song Rui leads the team. Primary objective, ensure Jin Ying and Yan Hao's safety. Secondary objective, annihilate the beast nest. At this time, Lin Yongji entered. Lin Yongxin was startled and said, Yongji, aren't you at the hospital? Song Lian said, Yongxin, I'm having your brother continue following Song Rui. No problem, right? Lin Yongji, report to Song Rui immediately and serve as deputy officer. This is an order. Lin Yongji said, okay. Only then did Lin Yongxin understand and said, so you arranged for him to be by Song Rui's side before too. Song Lian said softly, daughter, although I don't know why you care about Yan Hao, this is all dad can do for you. At this time, Jin Ying and I had already walked in. After all, only we had protective combat suits that could resist red mist. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly. Jin Ying looked at the device and found it very strange. The red mist concentration here was much stronger than outside, but the energy reading hadn't changed much. However, if that queen bee from earlier grew into Dominator class, the beast nest difficulty would greatly increase. Just then, I made Jin Ying stop. With a boom, the queen bee actually appeared before us. Jin Ying was shocked. This is bad. It's a mutated iron-armored poison stinger queen bee. Looking at its body size and tail mouth parts, its Dominator class, it really successfully evolved. This low-concentration red mist clearly doesn't support its rapid advancement. And the other scout class, poison stinger bees, also strengthened. The red mist concentration here has long exceeded the alert value. Why didn't the analysis device warn us? Jin Ying couldn't figure it out. Then she collapsed to the ground. The protective suit had been tampered with. The effect of resisting red mist weakened. She said, there's a mole in our team. But the next second, countless poison needles shot toward us. I grabbed Jin Ying and ran. Good thing we ran fast, or we'd have nearly died here. But I wasn't panicked at all. I was just worried about not having red mist energy. Now I had it. However, I needed to secure Jin Ying first. I kicked up a huge rock and said, hide here. It's concealed and ventilated here. You should be able to hold on for a while. Jin Ying, contact headquarters and have the reinforcements prepare protective suits. I'll go stall them. Jin Ying said, leave it to me. I'll update them with the data and latest situation. Then she called out to me, Yan Hao, if you don't come back, I won't let you off even if I go to hell. I chuckled and said, "Don't worry, I'll definitely come back. I've already gained enough power to protect important people." Facing countless scout-class iron-armored bees, I wasn't panicked at all. So this time, I made the same promise as that time with Xiao Shu. "Come on, I absolutely won't fail." I looked at the densely packed iron-armored bees in the air. That energy cannon moved from the Dominator-class beetle. I only had enough remaining red mist energy to release one shot. I absolutely couldn't fail. Concentrate. First condense, then detonate. Crimson roar burst. Then came a huge explosion. When the dust and fog cleared, I didn't know if I'd succeeded. Then I was startled. Red mist? Looking at the sky full of iron-armored bees, why did it feel like there were more and they'd gotten stronger? Jin Ying was a woman of action. She directly dismantled the device. The analyzer had indeed been tampered with. Now it should be able to measure red mist concentration normally. The next second, the device kept beeping. Danger. Danger. Red mist concentration exceeded standard. Why was this value so high? It exceeded twice the alert value. Then came a huge explosion that nearly blew her away. She didn't know why there was an explosion outside. This is bad. The explosion stirred the red mist even thicker. By absorbing the high concentration red mist, these bee swarms were able to rapidly evolve. Even the lowest scout class evolved into hound class. Facing so many iron-armored bees, I could only keep dodging. At this moment, I was a bit panicked. Damn it, why were there more and more iron-armored bees? And they kept getting stronger. Then I was knocked back by an iron-armored bee. Even with red mist around me, my replenishment speed still couldn't keep up with consumption. This wouldn't work. Jin Ying was also extremely worried. Could Yan Hao hold on? Then she was startled. His neck. This was a symptom of red mist erosion. His protective suit had also been tampered with. At this time, the detector was still issuing warnings. The value was still rising. He was about to lose control. This shocked her. The next second, she manually created a wind ball. She must first blow away the red mist around Yan Hao. With several whooshes, the wind ball arrived beside me. Jin Ying shouted, "Now!" Then she pressed the detonator. I was completely confused. I really thanked her ancestors 8 generations back. The red mist was blown away. My energy replenishment was cut off. Meanwhile, the iron-armored bees eyed us hungrily in the air. The next second, countless poison needles flew toward me. I could only raise both arms to block. Looking at the poison needles in my arms, I gasped. The poison on these bee stingers had a paralyzing effect. Before I could react, countless more breaking air sounds came from behind. Not good. I can't dodge. Suddenly, a sound of crushing stone rang out. It was Deputy Officer Lin. He directly used his back to block all the poison needles for me. I was somewhat incredulous. Deputy Officer Lin Yongji. C-rank strength type. Basic ability, physical enhancement, derived abilities, hardening, super sensing, beast core source, dominator pangolin. He said, "The battle's not over. Focus." The next second, countless bullets penetrated the iron-armored bees' bodies. The shooter was Song Rui. Song Rui was C-rank elemental type. Basic ability, electromagnetic force, derived abilities, lightning strike, electromagnetic cannon, iron sand, hacking, magnetization, beast core source, behemoth class eel. I said, "Captain Song, how did you get here?" Song Rui was as heroic and dashing as always. Then she gave the order, "All personnel assault. Clear out these bugs." The team members immediately began acting upon receiving orders. Group A, high temperature suppression of the front passage. Group B, firepower coverage mid-range. Song Rui's voice rang out again. "Deputy Officer Lin, you and Yan Hao retreat to the rear to recuperate." At this time, the queen bee prepared to release its ultimate move. It concentrated power in its stinger. The next second, the poison needle attacked toward me. A soldier exclaimed in shock, "What is that?" Song Rui held a sniper electromagnetic cannon and said, "Don't look back, keep running. It's actually Dominator class. I'll have to use that move." The next second, electromagnetic annihilation was released. A purple lightning shot out. This move created a high-voltage electric field that would destroy and paralyze all objects within range. The iron-armored queen bee's poison needle was directly shattered. At this time, Song Rui's attack precisely hit the iron-armored queen bee. Wait, this body size? This was the Dominator class queen bee the researchers mentioned. At the same time, someone screamed, "It escaped upward." Song Rui said, "I paralyzed it. It can't run far. Annihilate the surrounding bee swarm. Priority on rescue." I was somewhat shocked. So Song Rui was this strong? Deputy Officer Lin said, "Last time in Redstone City, Captain Song didn't bring main battle equipment, nor was she wearing a combat protective suit, so she couldn't use her abilities at full power." Song Rui walked toward me and asked, "Where's Jin Ying?" I pointed in a direction and said, "She's over there." At this time, Jin Ying's voice rang out, "Captain Song, if you'd come 10 minutes later, you'd be collecting my corpse." Song Rui said, "Remember to treat when we get back. You still owe me for the last time I saved you." Rescuing the wounded is complete. Next, exterminate the bee swarm and eliminate this beast nest threat. Taking advantage of this gap, I quietly replenished some red mist energy. That red mist cannon shot earlier actually didn't kill the queen bee. I need to try again. Just then, several more huge explosions came. Everyone looked in one direction. The queen bee absorbed all the red mist from the entire beast nest. Was it advancing again? Impossible. Didn't it just become Dominator class? Jin Ying was stunned. The red mist level was about to break through level 4. Where did this red mist come from? Could this beast nest be high level? The iron-armored queen bee roared. At this time, a soldier said, "Captain Song." Large numbers of hound class and bee swarms appeared at the rear. I said to them, "You handle the bee swarm. I have a way to deal with the queen bee." Song Rui said, "All personnel listen up. Attack the bee swarm. Cover Yan Hao." The next second, an attack curved toward the iron-armored queen bee. I had to completely eliminate it, or everyone would die. At this time, I'd already launched a frantic attack on the iron-armored queen bee, but its outer skin was too hard. It seemed claws alone wouldn't work. I again threw out a crimson condensed rod. With a huge boom, I also fell heavily to the ground. Did I succeed? I wasn't quite sure about that either. The next second, a black-red object pierced through the explosion and shot out. I dodged rapidly. It seemed that energy attacks alone weren't enough to inflict fatal damage on it. I had to find a handy weapon. Suddenly, I locked onto the thing that attacked me, the queen bee's stinger. What a treasure! Wasn't this a ready-made weapon? Before I could react, more bee stingers shot toward me. I dodged while charging at it. I wrapped all my remaining red mist energy around the weapon. I said, "Since you're gifting me a weapon, let me prepare a grand return gift for you." Red mist slash. The iron-armored queen bee's body was split in two by my strike. With a thunderous crash, I also gasped heavily for breath. Then a red beast core appeared. That was a overlord-level beast core. Very good. I'll take the beast core. Immediately, I discovered that this thing's energy was incredibly strong. It instantly filled the crystal core inside my body. I screamed out, "Oh no, I can't hold on much longer." On another part of the battlefield, electromagnetic cannons were bombarding continuously. Jin Ying suddenly noticed something wrong. Why did it feel like they suddenly became weaker? Song Rui immediately ordered, "Go support Yan Hao right away." Song Rui then discovered me lying on the ground, with a sword-like bee stinger beside me. Song Rui called out anxiously, "Yan Hao." Jin Ying then helped check my body and said, "Rapid heartbeat, neural signals in disarray. He's been exposed to too much red mist. He might lose his sanity." Song Rui was also somewhat worried and said, "Use the mobile medical pod to block neural transmission." They had no choice but to set up a temporary camp. A patrol soldier couldn't help but ask, "Vice Officer Lin, what happened to him? Is he alright?" Lin Yongji said, "He's fine for now." Jin Ying, you're from a technical officer background, so the medical pod parameter adjustments and monitoring are in your hands. Jin Ying said, "No problem, don't worry." The medical pod activated and anesthesia injection began inside the chamber. Jin Ying looked towards Song Rui and said, "This can only suppress it temporarily. We need to get back to headquarters for treatment quickly." They didn't know that a battle was taking place inside my body at that moment. My darkened self lifted me up and said, "Hand over your body." I suddenly thought of my parents. Thought of my sister. "I'm sorry, Dad, Mom, Xiao Shui. Everything is over." I felt like I was about to die. My darkened self was too strong. I was no match at all. Suddenly, I seemed to see my parents. They said, "Live on, child. You must live on." Then my sister said, "You must come back safe and sound. The battle isn't over. Focus. You can do this. I won't allow you to give up like this. Everyone is waiting for me. I have to find Xiao Shui. I have to protect everyone I want to protect. I won't fall here." Just like that, with my powerful will, I counter-killed my darkened self. Several iron chains locked him up. I pointed my finger at him and said, "This isn't just my responsibility, it's your responsibility too." I gasped heavily for a few breaths. This was the price of becoming stronger. Each breakthrough was like leaping at the edge of an abyss. Wait, why can't I open my eyes? My body won't move either. At that moment, we were heading back, but unfortunately, we were surrounded by rolling yellow sand. The sandstorm was too fierce. We couldn't see the road clearly. It was too dangerous to keep driving. "Song team, there's an old city ruins 3 kilometers ahead. Should we go there to take shelter?" Song Rui asked. Jin Ying, how is Yan Hao's condition now? Jin Ying said, "His vital signs have temporarily stabilized, but his consciousness hasn't recovered." Jin Ying was also somewhat puzzled. Song Rui directly ordered, "Vice Officer Lin, enter the ruins. Notify the vehicles behind to follow." The convoy quickly reached the ruins. Everyone got out to rest. Song Rui then became alert and said, "Jin Ying, something's not right here. Immediately scan the environmental structural stability, red mist concentration, and heat source signals. Protect Yan Hao well. This is the top priority mission from headquarters." Song Rui's feeling was correct. Several people were hiding in the shadows watching them. The next second, countless poisoned arrows attacked him. Vice Officer Lin quickly hardened his arms and said, "Enemy attack. Find cover and take shelter." Jin Ying looked at the smoking poisoned arrows and panicked. The crossbow bolts were actually coated with venom from poison needle wasps. Song Rui quickly told everyone to scatter, but she didn't notice a huge rock was falling toward her from above. Song Rui quickly dodged. With a thunderous crash, Song Rui rushed out rapidly. Facing so many stone fragments, Vice Officer Lin blocked in front of Jin Ying and said, "Watch out for the debris." The men in black said, "Don't let them escape, rob them of everything." Then several beer bottles were thrown at them. They said, "First taste this." With several clattering sounds, wisps of green gas emerged. "What is this?" "Oh no, this is body fluid from Overlord-level mutant beasts. The gas it produces has a paralyzing effect." The men laughed wickedly at the sight. A one-eyed man lunged at Song Rui and said, "Ha ha ha, hand over all the good stuff." Song Rui kicked him away and said, "Get lost." The one-eyed man flew backward and slammed hard onto the ground. The next second, a huge spear shot toward the medical pod. Song Rui also fell to the ground at that moment. "Damn it, my body is paralyzed." The men in black said, "It's hooked. Pull quickly. They're desperately protecting this iron box. There must be treasure inside." Jin Ying cried out in alarm, "Don't touch him." But the next second, an arrow pierced through her leg. Having just gotten their prize, they fled without hesitation. Jin Ying could only watch helplessly. At that moment, a strange mutation was occurring in my body. Song Rui brought Jin Ying to a position against a wall, but Jin Ying's mind was full of thoughts about rescuing me. Song Rui said, "Bear with it for now. Don't speak yet." How utterly this mission had failed. Not only was I taken, but Jin Ying was also injured. With a snap, Song Rui broke off the arrow shaft. She then bandaged Jin Ying's wound and said, "This is the temporary treatment. Don't move around." Jin Ying couldn't help but say, "Before we came, the bandits had already set up an ambush. How did they know our movements?" At that moment, Lin Yongji walked over and said, "The scene has been completely secured. The bandits escaped during the gap when we were poisoned. There's a strong sandstorm outside. It's impossible for them to transfer Yanhao from the surface. They must have gone below. We found an abandoned elevator shaft. According to preliminary exploration, it should be the passage to their lair." Song Rui said, "Assemble immediately. The next objective is to retrieve Yanhao. Group A, seal the exits and protect Jin Ying. Vice Officer Lin and Group B will rappel down with me. Success is the only option, failure is not." At that moment, a patrol soldier stepped forward and said, "Please let me go with you." Song Rui said, "No, you're not combat personnel. Stay with Jin Ying. Group A will protect you both." He said, "Yanhao is my good friend. He saved me. Now he's in danger. I have to rescue him." Song Rui compromised at the sight. "Fine, stay by my side. Don't fall behind." At that moment, a bunch of people were looking at my medical pod and saying, "This thing is so heavy. What's inside?" Another person said, "Who cares? Anything hidden in an armored vehicle must be something good." The next second, a burly man raised his axe, wanting to break it open with brute force. With a loud clang, the axe didn't leave a single mark on the medical pod. The bandit leader found it very strange. "This thing is harder than a vault. We've broken several heavy hammers on it." At that moment, a yellow-haired guy said he could open it, but they had to go downstairs. The bandit leader clearly didn't believe him and said, "What nonsense are you talking about? Down there is only a dead end. 3 who went in last time haven't returned. Not even rats can survive down there." The yellow-haired guy said, dissatisfied, "I've seen it. There's a key down there that can pry it open." The bandit leader grabbed him and said, "Who do you think you are?" The yellow-haired guy said, "If I open it, you let me go. If I can't, you can kill me or cut me up as you please." The bandit leader said, "If you're playing tricks, we'll slaughter you." Though I didn't know what happened after I lost control, I was probably now in some enemy's lair. After the crystal core upgraded, my sensory abilities greatly enhanced. Not only could I sense the surrounding environment and the depths underground, but I could also sense my own body's condition. Crystal core level, rust red, red mist reserves, 67%, abilities, evolution, beast claw, beast coil, abilities, plunder, red mist bullet, venom gland. The venom gland must be the ability I plundered from the queen bee. They quickly reached their destination. The bandit leader told the yellow-haired guy not to play tricks. The yellow-haired guy said, "The key is this. Bring the iron box over." The bandit leader said, "It better be useful, otherwise." Before he finished speaking, a boom came from behind him. The bald man yelled, "Boss!" The box opened by itself. I directly activated the venom gland. Several people instantly foamed at the mouth, looking at the fallen men. I was quite satisfied with this skill. It was quite useful. There's actually a person inside. "Did you deliberately let us steal it just to infiltrate our lair?" I said, "What nonsense are you talking about?" He said, "I used to be a D-rank warrior. Killing you is like crushing an ant." He then rushed at me, shouting, "Die!" I sneered inwardly. A D-rank has only this much ability. I then activated the venom gland. I punched him in the face. The bandit leader flew back 800 meters and slammed hard against the wall. Then I turned to look at the yellow-haired guy. I said, "What, do you want to try too?" The yellow-haired guy directly fainted from fright. I looked around. I didn't expect this place to have so many mutant beast skeletons, and the bones all had injuries. It seemed these beasts didn't die naturally. Someone deliberately put them here to kill each other, like a fighting arena. Just then, a buzzing sound came from above. It was Song Rui's electromagnetic sound. I could hear it through 10 floors. I crushed the beast bone in my hand. She still had such a fiery temper. At that moment, the special response team was battling with the thieves. The thieves were surprised. That person was actually impervious to weapons. The next second, Vice Officer Lin kicked one person away, then said, "Song team, this area has been suppressed. No sign of Yanhao yet?" Song Rui said, "Keep searching. There are mutant beast claw marks everywhere. This place must be hiding some secret. At that moment, the patrol soldier said, Song team, the detector Jin Ying gave me detected Yan Hao right below us. Song Rui asked, what's wrong? The patrol soldier said the signal suddenly disappeared. Song Rui was shocked. Oh no, the medical pod may have been destroyed. Yan Hao is in danger. But the next second, I appeared before them, and I was carrying the yellow-haired guy in my hand. Seeing me suddenly appear, Song Rui asked, Yan Hao, are you all right? What's down there? I said, I'm fine. Down there should be an abandoned fighting arena. Vice Officer Lin asked Song Rui if they should investigate. Song Rui had her own considerations and said, priority is to retreat. We'll arrange for an investigation later. At that moment, the patrol soldier spoke up, Yan Hao, who is this kid? The next second, the yellow-haired guy broke free from my arm. He then pulled out a dagger and charged at me, shouting, die. With a clang, he felt like he'd stabbed a block of steel. This was my partial beast-scale armor. The moment his dagger touched it, the dagger shattered. I looked at him coldly, crushing the remaining dagger as well, and said, do you want to die? As if he hadn't heard, he cursed. You soldiers are all bastards. He grabbed his own neck with his hands and said, kill me. These were symptoms of red mist infection. I immediately knocked him unconscious. But the patrol soldier discovered something different. It was the yellow-haired guy's personal belongings. It read, Chishi Patrol Squad 7th Team, Ashuo. Song Rui said, this is my comrade's ID. The person in the photo is older than him. They look similar around the eyes. They might be brothers. Song Rui immediately ordered, this kid's condition is very bad. Take him back for treatment and investigation first. I placed my hand on the yellow-haired guy's back, absorbing the red mist energy from his body. Perhaps there was still hope to save him. We quickly returned to Lake City Special Response Team, Blazing Blood Camp District. A soldier saw us and said, they're back. Go report to Team Leader Zhang quickly. Song Rui said, Vice Officer Lin, take Jin Ying to the medical room immediately. At that moment, someone blocked them and said, according to the latest epidemic prevention regulations, all personnel returning from high-risk red mist zones need immediate quarantine. I felt something was wrong. There was no such regulation before. That person continued, this is an order from above. Please cooperate with us. Remove your clothes for comprehensive disinfection and examination. Song Rui was furious when she heard this. No one had ever made things difficult for her like this. She said, who issued the order? I'm their commanding officer, Song Rui. Tell your superior to come see me immediately. The guard was somewhat troubled when he heard this. Just then, an arrogant voice came. Who is deliberately refusing to cooperate with the inspection? Oh, it's Captain Song. Zhang Jing couldn't understand why Song Rui would return with Yan Hao. Song Rui's expression instantly turned cold and said, did you order these logistics soldiers to do this? Zhang Jing said, I'm responsible for new recruit quarantine safety. Captain Song and researcher Jin are both veterans of the special response team, so no inspection is needed. However, Yan Hao, this is for the camp's sake. Please cooperate. When Song Rui saw that he treated her words as if they went in one ear and out the other, she became instantly furious and said, what position do you think you hold? You don't make the decisions here. Zhang Jing instantly broke out in cold sweat. Song Rui said, ignore him. Then she led us inside. But Zhang Jing suddenly said, wait, are you bringing this filthy thing into the camp? When the patrol soldier heard this, he was unhappy and said, he's not a filthy thing. He's my comrade's younger brother. Zhang Jing said, oh, he's from the patrol squad. Garbage should be thrown in the garbage dump. He then had two guards point their guns at the patrol soldier. Song Rui didn't expect Zhang Jing to be so obstinate. I figured this guy was coming after me, so I stepped forward and said, let me handle this. Venom gland activated. I slapped his shoulder and said, Zhang Jing, back off. He said, are you trying to oppose me? But the next second, his expression changed dramatically. This is poison. When did? I said, I know you find me unpleasant, but your methods are too crude. Back off while you still can. He immediately fell to his knees with a thud. I put on an innocent expression and said, oh my, look at you. Just a few words and you're exhausted. Zhang Jing nearly coughed up blood from anger when he heard this. I shouted at the two guards with guns, your new team leader seems a bit tired. Take him back to rest. The guards ran over and said, team leader, what's wrong? Zhang Jing said, Yan Hao, you got me this time. Just you wait. We hadn't gone far when Song Rui couldn't help but ask, what did you do? I said, don't worry, it'll just make him lie in bed for 2 days. Inside the medical laboratory, Jin Ying reported on this mission. My combat suit was smeared with slow-acting corrosive agent. When exposed to high-concentration red mist, the protective function failed. There's an insider who doesn't want us to return alive. Song Lian said, Yan Hao, you're also one of the targets. I felt something was wrong when I heard this. I said, Chief of Staff, I think their fundamental target is me. Jin Ying was implicated because of me. Song Lian said, is that so? Until we investigate clearly, you two are suspended from field missions. Jin Ancheng said, it seems some people need to be cleaned out. Assign some trustworthy people to protect my daughter and Yan Hao. We can't afford another slip-up. Song Lian's expression turned somewhat cold when he heard this and said, I understand. Ruier, during this period, your primary mission is to ensure their absolute safety. Song Rui said, understood, father. Just like that, several days passed. I lay back on a long bench replaying this mission. Field duties were suspended. There was an insider in the military, Zhang Jing from the city defense team, a Shuo from the patrol squad. What should I do next? Then the patrol soldier shouted and ran toward me, Yan Hao. I turned my head and asked, what's wrong? What happened? He then said quietly, when I was examining that youth, I found a photo. The girl in the photo looks a lot like your sister. I grabbed his hand excitedly and said, are you telling the truth? The patrol soldier yelled, it's breaking, my hand is breaking. We then came to the hospital room. The patrol soldier asked, doctor, how is his condition? The doctor said, currently stable, but continued observation is needed. However, when he first arrived, the infection was already very severe. How did it suddenly lessen these past few days? I reached my hand toward the yellow-haired guy. I said, sorry, doctor. What follows is an internal blazing blood investigation. Please step out for a moment. The doctor was shocked. I know he's a bandit, but his infection symptoms lessening is very unusual. I hope you won't. I knew he must have misunderstood. After all, the red mist infection on his body was all cleared by me. I looked at the photo of my sister. The yellow-haired guy woke up at that moment and said, what are you doing? That belonged to my brother. I pointed at the photo and asked him, where did you see this girl? He said, half a year ago when I went to the refugee settlement. I asked, where is she now? But the yellow-haired guy said twice that he didn't know. Then he struggled and said, they all disappeared. My brother too. He clearly told me to wait for him, said he'd be right back. I couldn't help but think of my promise to my sister. I will definitely come back for you, okay? I will definitely come for you. At that moment, the patrol soldier said, he was assigned to transfer refugees at that time, but during the transfer, he was assigned to another task, and then he went missing. I felt something was wrong and said, if he went missing, why was another task assigned during the mission? The patrol soldier said, I'm not very clear on the specific information either. We might need to investigate the mission files from that time. I then placed my hand on the yellow-haired guy's shoulder. The red mist on his body quickly transferred to me. The patrol soldier was stunned and said, what are you doing? I made a shushing gesture and said, don't let anyone else know about this. The patrol soldier said, so that's how it is. No wonder his infection suddenly improved. I said to the yellow-haired guy, I'll help you find your brother, but you have to tell me everything about the girl in this photo from half a year ago. The yellow-haired guy said, as long as I tell you about that girl's situation, you'll really help me find my brother? I said, you can try trusting me. Then the yellow-haired guy began to tell the story. In the camp cafeteria, the patrol soldier asked, are you really going back? I said, of course. Xiao Shui has been missing for over half a year. I can't wait any longer. The patrol soldier said, Captain Song said there's an insider in the military who wants to harm you. She told me to follow you and report any intelligence to her. I said, my purpose in coming here was for Xiao Shui. No one can stop me. Just then, Song Rui's voice sounded behind me. Who's trying to stop you? The patrol soldier exclaimed. Jin Ying, your leg injury healed? Jin Ying said, yes. Blazing Blood's top-level medical care is truly excellent. Song Rui said, this isn't a good place to talk. Let's change locations. It's not convenient to speak here. In the small conference room, I asked them how they knew. Jin Ying pulled out a tablet. It was surveillance footage. The patrol soldier said unhappily, so you've been monitoring us all along. Jin Ying said, don't make it sound so bad. I'm protecting everyone, you know. There are problems internally now. It's possible someone could suddenly be kidnapped. Song Rui said, I had her retrieve the surveillance. That doctor came out and explained the situation to me. Yan Hao, I won't stop you. I said I'd help you. I hope you trust me. I didn't expect Song Rui to say such things. Jin Ying said, me too. Give us a little more trust. You want to investigate, right? I have exclusive methods. The patrol soldier said, me too. I'll always support you. Song Rui said, so Yan Hao, what do you plan to do next? Can you discuss it properly with everyone? In the end, I explained my plan. Redstone City suburban ruins. Password everywhere. Come in. I have urgent business to see Boss Hong. Boss Hong doesn't have time to see you. It's about Yan Hao. He's currently on his way from Lake City to Redstone City. The man chuckled and said to the phone, Boss Hong, there's intelligence on Yan Hao. The man also revealed a sinister smile, thinking, Yan Hao, you're finished. Several days later at Redstone City Inspection Station, what the hell? What are you doing? City Defense Team defense requirements. All entering vehicles must be inspected. Roll down your window. Song Rui frowned. What are the City Defense Team people doing? The order is in such chaos. I've never seen them so actively defending the city before. I joked from the passenger seat. This car is nice. Song Rui said, this isn't a military mission. We can't use military vehicles. Using my private vehicle will be more discreet. The patrol soldier said, is it okay to leave Jin Ying alone at headquarters? Song Rui said, I had Vice Officer Lin watch her. There shouldn't be any problems. Jin Ying said she has a method to investigate. Only headquarters can mobilize that thing, so we let her stay. Besides, Jin Ying can provide us with remote support through military communications. But just then, knocking came from outside the window. Open the window. Accept inspection. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out. Mutant beasts approaching 1 kilometer away. It's Iron Ridge wolf packs. The 2 city defense soldiers immediately ran away when they heard this. Song Rui cursed when she saw this. These bastards. They block people here and then ignore them. I said, let me go. The Iron Ridge wolf pack chased the people who hadn't entered the city yet, making them scream. Everyone fled toward the city desperately. Help. The next second, I stood between the crowd and the wolf pack. With just one move, I ripped off one wolf's head. These were all Scout-class Iron Ridge wolves. Wolves are pack animals. Seeing their companion die, they immediately swarmed together. This scene was so familiar. My sister and I had encountered this kind of situation back then. Looking at the murderous wolf pack, I went all out. I wouldn't let that kind of thing happen again. The city defense team members were shocked. What kind of monster is he? He resolved the mutant beast pack in an instant. Quickly notified team leader Zhang that person has arrived in Redstone City. After resolving the beast pack, the patrol soldier said, easily done. Worthy of a blazing blood warrior. I'll handle the rest. At that moment, I didn't know a huge trap was waiting for me. Song Rui looked at the city defense soldiers and said, City defense team soldiers over there, I'm special response team, Blazing Blood Squad leader Song Rui. I order you to stop the inspection immediately and let the civilians enter the city. We soon entered the city. Song Rui's intuition told her the defense inspection just now was suspicious. She asked me what I thought. I said, it feels like they're looking for someone, but right now the pressing matter is to immediately investigate Ashuo's mission files. We parked the car outside the main gate of Redstone City Defense Team headquarters. In the archives room, the patrol soldier said all the patrol squad mission files were here, but strangely, why couldn't Ashuo's files be found? Song Rui wasn't idle either, searching for something on the computer. The patrol soldier was also confused. 7th teams Ashuo, Li Ming, Wang Qiang, all gone. Even the basic roster had been removed. Song Rui's side also the results. The local database had also been destroyed. There were no records of Ashuo at all. It seemed those people really covered their tracks thoroughly. Is there really no other way? Song Rui said, wait a moment. She dialed a phone call. Jinying, can you find it? Then she said, Jinying has a way to access the database materials, but it needs time. The patrol soldier said, was Jinying always this capable? I thought this was normal. After all, she calls herself the know-it-all. At that moment, the patrol soldier had a flash of inspiration and said, that's right, Captain Jia is an old veteran from the former government military. When the patrol squad was just formed, he mentored Ashuo. He definitely knows about that year's mission. We quickly rushed to Captain Jia's house, but inside was a mess with signs of fighting, as if the battle had just ended not long ago. I picked up one of the fragments. It's 80% likely the city defense team did this. Song Rui was completely confused when she heard this. Why would the city defense team attack Jia Jun? The patrol soldier said. Previously, Yan Hao stood up for Captain Jia and beat up the city defense team captain. Now they must be here for revenge. My expression darkened. It seems they're all coming after me. The inspection was also to confirm my entry into the city. We had just left the main gate when someone said, Team Leader Song, I finally found you. I'm City Defense Team Deputy Li Ben. I received news that you came to Redstone City. Captain Jia Jun of the patrol squad I oversee went missing while executing a mission outside the city. I'd like to request your assistance in the search and rescue. Song Rui felt something was wrong and said, why are you asking me to handle your military's business? He said, recently, the mutant beasts around the city have been abnormally active. Our regular military simply can't deal with them. His clumsy acting was too poor. The next moment, Song Rui said, fine, I agree to help with the search and rescue, but you have to act together with us. Li Ben became somewhat troubled and said, that's not very good. I'm afraid acting together would hinder you. Song Rui said, are you refusing? I'm not requesting, I'm ordering. If you refuse, I can execute you on the spot for disobeying a superior's orders. Li Ben was scared, cold sweat pouring down his face, and said, I wouldn't dare. Song Rui then said, bring him in the car. We quickly arrived at the city outskirts. I said, Deputy Li, you just said the mutant beasts have been abnormally active recently. Why would you still have Captain Jia execute a mission? Did you deliberately send Captain Jia to his death? Li Ben said, how could that be? Captain Jia requested it himself, around this area. I said, I feel something's wrong. He says this area has active mutant beasts, but I don't smell any red mist. Just then, the patrol soldier discovered Li Ben seemed to be passing information, muttering that they must leave this place quickly. He walked forward and asked, Deputy Li, what are you doing? Li Ben stammered, I've already brought you all to the incident location. It should have nothing to do with me now. So I had my team members come pick me up. Please tell Team Leader Song that the search and rescue matter is in her hands. Suddenly, Song Rui came over and blocked him with her foot, saying, you can't leave. "Tell us, what's your objective?" Accompanied by lightning suddenly appearing in the air. Li Ben was so scared he sat on the ground and cried out, "That thing is coming!" Then came a tremendous boom, and lightning crackled through the air. As expected, the reason there wasn't a single low-level mutant beast around was because of it. That was a thunder beast, overlord level. Looking at the monster crackling with electricity before us, the patrol soldier's speech became stuttered. Why would an overlord level suddenly appear here? I instantly understood many things. Abnormally active mutant beasts, patrol squad going missing during mission execution. It seemed these weren't coincidences. Li Ben took the opportunity to flee outside. Song Rui hated this kind of shameless traitor the most and said, "Catch him. Don't let him escape." The patrol soldier chased from behind, shouting, "Don't run!" Li Ben said, "I won't. I don't want to die here for no reason." At that moment, the thunder beast was charging up. It seemed it was preparing to use its breath attack. As the lightning beam shot out, Song Rui shouted, "Get out of the way." Then a tremendous boom came from behind me. It seemed leaving wouldn't be that easy. Song Rui told me to hold on first while she got the weapons. I said no problem. But neither of us noticed a person standing on a distant rooftop. He said, "Yan Hao, let's see how arrogant you are this time." This guy was actually Zhang Cheng. Behind him was precise equipment with something like a beast core inside. A subordinate said, "Boss, can such a small device really control an overlord-level mutant beast?" Zhang Cheng said, "The technology of the people behind us is beyond your imagination. They built a mutant beast breeding base. The things raised inside aren't ordinary mutant beasts. As long as we capture Yan Hao and hand him over to them, Redstone City will be mine." I looked gravely at the thunder beast before me. Elemental ability type mutant beasts mainly rely on energy to fight. The venom gland I plundered from the queen bee could also work on overlord level mutant beasts. I then charged forward, but the thunder beast just roared. I was knocked backward, hadn't even touched its fur. Even more terrifying, my beastification was forcibly cancelled. That ability was just like Song Rui's electromagnetic annihilation rounds. It then concentrated lightning on one claw. If I couldn't dodge, I'd definitely die here. With a bang, a huge crater was blasted in the ground. Fortunately, I dodged. I told myself I couldn't be careless. As expected, there was a difference from ordinary overlord-level mutant beasts. Surrounded by lightning, there was simply no chance to get close. Could eliminating that lightning armor work? At that moment, Song Rui had returned. I said, "Song team, can you do it?" She said, "Of course. My beast core ability comes from the Thunder Beast. The Thunder Beast's lightning can annihilate surrounding particles, making other abilities ineffective. If I fire an annihilation round with full force, it can offset the Thunder Beast's lightning armor, but the time is very short. It'll recover quickly." I said, "An instant is enough. Leave the rest to me, right now." Song Rui had long been ready to attack at any moment. Electromagnetic annihilation round. The moment it was hit, the Thunder Beast's lightning armor was neutralized. I took the opportunity to use my beast claw. Poisoned. How about the queen bee's fierce poison? The thunder beast's body glowed green. Very good, it's working. The toxin delayed its movements. At that moment, I could easily dodge the Thunder Beast's attacks. Although its attack power was stronger than the previous Overlord levels, after losing its lightning power, its attack power weakened. Without Song Rui's annihilation rounds, I wouldn't even have had a chance to get close. I must become even stronger. The Thunder Beast had now sensed the danger to its life and turned to flee. Seeing this, the subordinate asked, "Boss, what do we do? That mutant beast is losing." Song Rui thought, Yan Hao has grown quite a bit during this time. I must also become stronger. But she didn't notice another monster had appeared behind her. Zhang Cheng grinned and said, "Who said I only brought one Overlord-level mutant beast to deal with them?" Seeing this, Song Rui was also shocked. "There's actually another one."